All right, welcome everybody to another Tuesday session. Tuesdays are all about growth personally and professionally, just making sure that you get in front of information that's going to take you to a better level, whether it's in your personal space, whether it's communicating, whether it's in your business space. I want to make sure that I am being of benefit to making sure I'm bringing you the best of the best every single week. And majority of the topics are going to be from topics that most of the conversations I have with many of you. So it could be anything from credit, it could be anything from business funding. And tonight's topic is definitely in alignment with you entrepreneurs out here. And tonight's topic is all about creating one more stream of income. And it could be from your next check. All right. So I really want you to keep an open mind and understand everything that we're talking about is not outside of your reach. You do have to get in front of the information and just find the right people, the trusted people, to get you in front of the answers. And tonight, what we're going to do is really dive into that. I want to give you a couple of stats first before I introduce my special guest today, Kenna Craver. And she is the owner, the CEO of the Entrepreneur Cheat Code. And she's going to dive into tonight's discussion. So you really don't want to miss when I bring in someone of value. She's definitely impressed me, and that's a lot. That's a lot. So I want to make sure that I'm bringing you value, so that when you're looking to make these big decisions about anything, you can always rely on us. All right. So before I bring her up, I wanted to give entrepreneurs, I want to give you some stats, not to scare you. Kirby, you made it. Welcome. I wanted to make sure that you got some stats, and I want entrepreneurs not to get nervous, but I want you to really get a realistic view of where we are today in 2022, all right? There was a huge shift over the last decade of entrepreneurs that have come into the business. And I mean small businesses, just you, and it could just be a big business. I'm not talking about any particular one. The amount of new businesses that started typically in 2010 to 20 was trending right around 2.5, 2.8 million. That's 2.8 billion businesses. Were you one of those? I don't know. I know I was one of them. I'm a little in that. And if you had that business open, I want you to take a look what happened. What happened in 2020? 2020 was like no other that we've been through maybe in our lifetime, but you saw a huge influx of businesses that started to birth. And the reason for that was because jobs were letting people go. Not that I wanted to get fired. I didn't want to get let go of my job, but a lot of businesses were letting people go because there was not a need for people to be in certain industries. So a lot of that shut down. So that turned the everyday person into a virtual assistant, a remote employee at that point. And now they're starting to go on to online sources in order to make money. That's the reason why in 2020, there was a huge influx of businesses that opened up. And in 2019, we're around 3.5 million. In 2020, 4.3 million businesses were in business. In 2021, guys, guess how much? Guess how many businesses were around? It wasn't even single digits anymore. It was now 31 million businesses were in business. Look at the spike. 2022 is not even over at this point, so we have no idea what the number of businesses will be in 2022. So I say all that just to share with you, there are a lot of businesses that are in. Not a lot of them are going to stay in business as well. You've got 10% of startups that don't even finish. You have 10% of startups in their first year that can't make it. And typically within the first 2 years, 20% of businesses fail. So the reason why this is really important is if you're walking into a new business, you have to start everything, right? You have to start everything brand new from scratch. And now tonight's topic is going to be, well, how can I walk into a business that is already in motion? That's kind of, in what I call it is a business in a box. What if a business was already in place and what you needed to do was walk into it, look at the receipts, look at the history and take a look and see, is this something that I can walk into that already has some history? I have to just make it a little bit better with a little bit of seasoning, a little bit of communication, a little bit of employees, a little bit of marketing, and all of that, you can increase the sales and start making some additional money from day one. So that's the reason why I wanted to introduce Ms. Kenna Craver, again, the CEO, the owner of the Entrepreneur Cheat Code, so she can dive in and really give a detailed account for how you can really get one more stream of business by getting into the e-commerce business. My queen, are you ready? You can unmute yourself and
I am.
take it away. It is yours. And if those, again, that are on IG that want to come over and take a look at the presentation slides, which we highly suggest, right, Kenna?
Absolutely. You don't want to miss that.
Yeah, she's like, come on over. So make sure you come over to my bio, register for the link, and then come on inside so that you can be a part of what we're looking at. All right, so I'll let you take it away.
Thank you so much, Lorie, for that introduction. And thank you all for having me. I always appreciate anytime I'm given the opportunity to come speak to people about one of my favorite topics, which is business acquisition. So thank you for having me. And I'm going to just dive right in because I want to get through as much of this information as I possibly can. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And Lorie, I'll look to you to confirm that you can see it. Can you see my screen? Okay, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and stop my own video just so you guys can pay attention to the presentation. All right, here we go. So today we're going to talk about, as Lorie mentioned, how you can create an additional income stream with your next check. And I love to talk about this topic about how to generate income online without starting from scratch, because it's just one of my favorite topics, like I mentioned. So I want to welcome you to the webinar, and I'm going to show you how you can earn income online without starting from scratch by buying an existing business. Now, I'm guessing for a lot of you, this is probably not your first webinar. And so the first thing I want to mention is that if you failed at starting a business in the past, it is not your fault. There's a lot of information out there and it can be confusing. I've seen it myself. So many times that information overload can keep you from success. So it's okay. If you've been concerned in the past that you just can't succeed with an online business specifically, I also want to put those fears to rest, because you can do this, you just need the right strategy. So you can be successful, you can live the life of your dreams. And so that's what we're here for. I know most of you probably have a dream to have more freedom, change the world, make an impact. And I want to show you how to make that happen during this webinar. So my goal for this class is to show you that buying an existing business is a smarter and, in my opinion, way more fun path to entrepreneurship. So this presentation, really quick, I want to talk about who it's for. So it's to help two different types of people. For those who are currently working a full-time or part-time job that you want to quit, you'll be able to earn income from an online business immediately so that you can do so ASAP. For those of you who are currently working or not working and you just want to earn extra income from a business, you'll get the tactics to do so without having to start from scratch. So I want to go ahead and dive into who am I, right? Harpo, who is this woman? I just rewatched The Color Purple recently, maybe a couple weeks ago, y'all, and I forgot how sad it is. Like, I was crying the whole movie, but let's keep it moving. So really quick about me, I spent my early career working in the tech industry, and I've worked with startups and Fortune 500 companies to help them build out their mobile and software applications. I also worked with a major luxury retailer in the e-commerce division to help them streamline their operations. And this was a decade ago. So this is like when e-commerce first started popping off and people were starting to get a little bit more comfortable with shopping online. So I had my hand in the e-commerce industry pretty early on. And that's where I realized that e-commerce was where it's at. But here's what happened to me. Like many people, I got to a point where I was burnt out and miserable. You know, I had to commute to and from work in traffic every day. And the crazy thing was I was making six figures, you know, working in tech, but I just couldn't truly enjoy it because I was always working and I was just tired of not having control over my time. So I quit and just started working on different side hustles. So this is just a few photos of me in the corporate life. You can kind of see me looking miserable here, sitting in my car. This is around the time I made the decision to quit and become an entrepreneur, because you can tell I look miserable here, right? And don't ask what's in that red solo coat, okay? So, like I mentioned, I went ahead and decided to quit. And so I started working on different side hustles, and I tried so many different businesses, y'all. Like, I wanted freedom and income not tied to a traditional job. And so I started a mobile app development company. I dabbled in real estate investing. I started an indie business magazine. You might recognize some of these entrepreneurs. I actually got a chance to interview them and feature them on the cover of my magazine. And I tried to start a few e-commerce businesses of my own. And I did okay, but I was only making a few dollars here and there, not enough to live on. And so I had to move back in with mom and ran through my savings. So I basically had to live off of credit cards, and I just felt like such a failure. I also had to rely on others, which I hated. And things were just not working out like I hoped, even though I was doing everything in my power to make it work. And I worked so much that I got burnt out numerous times. So one day I was trying to figure out how to grow my business. This was one of my e-commerce businesses. And so I was listening to a podcast, and the host was interviewing someone who had been very successful in e-commerce. And the host asked that guest if they had to start over, what would they do? And the guest responded that they wouldn't start over, they would just buy an existing business. And so I had to pause the conversation because I thought, wait, what? I could just buy a business? Like, buy a business that's already making money instead of trying to figure everything out and start from scratch? So once I figured that out, I basically began learning everything I could about buying a business. I checked out library books. I read everything that I could find online. I went to YouTube University. You know, I tried to learn. I became a sponge and learned as much as I could. And after tons of research, I knew that this was the path for me. So I started looking for a business to buy. But it was a bumpy road because I had to learn how to do it on my own. I didn't know anyone else who could teach me how to buy a business. And I was basically just piecing together information that I found on Google. So I made all kinds of mistakes. Like, I would talk to business owners about buying their business and they would end up ghosting me because I didn't know what I was doing. I was just learning as I went. So eventually I found a really great e-commerce business that sold beauty products. So I reached out to the seller to learn more about it, and the business was generating on average about $5,000 to $7,000 per month, but it had been making like up to like 30K and 50K a month also. And the website and the branding was already established. It had a large social media presence, and the customers were buying every day. So you can just kind of see a few of the reviews of the business that I was looking into. So I did my due diligence and confirmed everything looked good, and ended up buying that business. So these are just a few of the closing documents. You get to see how they're saying that they're now transferring the business over to me. And I was so excited. Like, this is a really, really exciting step in my career, becoming the new owner of a business that was already generating revenue. And here's the best part. Once the business was transferred over to me, I immediately started getting notifications on my phone that sales were coming in. And honestly, I was amazed because it was so simple. Like, after all those years of struggling to earn income online, after buying the business, income just came in easily because the previous owner had already established the brand and built a social media presence. They already had a customer list. Like, they already were generating revenue. So once it was just transferred over to me, that revenue just continued. So I was finally able to achieve the freedom that I want. And I thought, like, why don't more people do this? And why have I never heard about it? So that's my story. You guys may not have been in my situation where I was desperate to have more freedom by not having a traditional job. Maybe you like your job and you just want to create an additional income stream so you can just build wealth or just not be entirely dependent on your salary. Maybe you tried to start a business before, but haven't been able to generate consistent income yet. Or maybe you already own a business, but you're ready to scale your income to the next level. So I'm just curious, can you guys just kind of let me know in the chat, like which one of these groups do you belong to? A, B, or C? Like which, I just want to see really quick who I'm talking to today. So let me know in the chat, which one do you guys belong to? Are you currently working and you just want to replace your income or supplement your income? Have you tried to start a business but haven't generated consistent income yet? Or are you generating consistent income from your business, but you're just ready to scale to the next level? Okay, I see a C. Yep, that's a lot of the times that's the case. B, okay, so you tried to start a business, but you just haven't generated income yet. Okay, awesome. Well, that usually the people that I talk to fall somewhere between between A and B. Somebody said A, B, and C. B and C, okay, yeah, that sounds good. A lot of times people fall into multiple categories. So, okay, so let's say you tried to start a business, but you just haven't generated consistent income yet. Well, here's how you would traditionally go about achieving your goal. So if you have a job, but you want more income, or you just want to quit altogether, you would look for another high paying job, or maybe you would consider starting a business. So you would try to figure out what type of business to start. Maybe you could sell products online. Maybe you could become some type of consultant or coach and help people. So you would have to set up a website. You would hire a graphic designer to help with the logo and the branding. You would create a business entity like an LLC. You might start looking for suppliers who offer the products you want to sell. You try to learn how to market using like Facebook ads or influencer marketing. All of that, and you haven't made a dime yet. And this is the part most people don't talk about when they talk about starting a business. We see so much content about entrepreneurship online, but we don't talk about how much it costs to actually just get started, right? So you're trying to set up your website, establish your entity, whether that's an LLC or just a sole proprietorship, corporation, whatever you want. Set up your brand and your logo, your suppliers, trying to do product research, marketing, and then you have no idea when you're going to get to the money, right? And that's the case with most people. And this is, Lorie touched on this a bit in the beginning when she talked about how a lot of businesses don't even see year 3, 4, 5 because they weren't able to get past this part, right? Well, when you buy an existing business, you get to completely skip this startup process because you're taking over a business that is already set up and operating. It already has customers. The website and the branding is already set up. The marketing strategy is already figured out. The suppliers are already providing the business with products, and the business is already producing income. So you come in as a new owner and you just get straight to the money, basically. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And like I said, if I'm talking fast, I apologize. I just want to get through the presentation and make sure you guys get as much value from this as possible. So here's what we're going to cover during the next 30 to 45 minutes or so. We're going to talk about the 3 secrets, right? So we're going to talk about how to skip the struggle, how to find existing online businesses available for sale where the owners will beg you to take it from them. We're going to talk about how to find a business within your budget and start generating income on day 1. And we're going to talk about how to evaluate that business to ensure that it will continue to be successful after you buy it. So let's dive in. We're going to talk about how to skip the struggle, how to find existing profitable online businesses for sale by owners who will beg you to take it from them. So let me just continue on with my story. When I first learned that I could buy an existing business, I was excited about the idea, but I wanted to know more about what it actually meant. So I started doing some research, and what I learned was that buying a business is a lot like buying a house. You can have a house built from scratch and wait months to actually be able to live in it, or you can buy one that's already built and immediately move in, right? So similar to that, you can start a business from scratch and invest a lot of money up front before you see any income, or you can buy one that's already operating and profitable and start receiving income from it as soon as it's transferred over to you. It's all about skipping the process of building and getting straight to enjoying the benefits. And I also want to mention quickly that when I say buy a business, I'm not referring to franchises. I find that people usually think of buying a franchise like a McDonald's when they first hearing about buying a business. And the key difference is that when you buy a franchise, you're essentially still starting from scratch. Like you would still have to find a location, pay for construction to build it, hire employees, And plus you're limited to what the brand says that you can and can't do. So when I'm talking about buying a business, I'm referring to one that's already up and running and you can operate it as you see fit once you buy it. Now, of course, you can buy a franchise. I have nothing against franchises, but I just wanted to point that out. You can buy any kind of business. So let's talk about the benefits of buying a business. So when I first got into this, I started looking deeper into what the pros and cons of buying a business were. So really quick, the immediate income, right? That's my favorite part. And I feel like that's most people's favorite part. Like, who doesn't want to start earning income on day one? The second benefit is that the operations and systems are already in place. So you don't have to try to figure everything out. Like, the systems are key to a business's success, and it can take a lot of time, months, maybe even years, to try to develop those systems. But when you buy a business, these things are already in place. So you literally just have to learn the systems that the previous owner already established and continue to operate. And another benefit of buying an existing business is an existing supplier and vendor relationships. I see this a lot online. People are a lot of times looking for suppliers or vendors for e-commerce businesses. And you can buy vendor lists and find vendors that are selling the products that you want to sell. But a lot of times you're still going to have to order products to test the quality. You're going to have to order from different suppliers to find one that fits the quality and the standards that you're looking for. And that could take time, and that can take money, right? Because you have to buy all these minimum samples, these minimum orders of samples. Well, when you buy an existing business, the supplier and vendor relationships are transferred over to you as well. So they're already vetted. They're already providing products to the business. They're already familiar with the business as a customer. And you may even be able to come in as the new owner and negotiate better prices because the business has a history of placing orders with that supplier. And so you can come in as a new owner to say, hey, this business has a history of consistent orders from you. How about let's negotiate the pricing, since you already know that I'm going to be a continued customer. So that's another benefit of buying an existing business. The fourth benefit is expert assistance from the previous owner. So a lot of times I hear people being just kind of hesitant to start a business because they feel like they won't know what they're doing and that they're going to make mistakes. And one thing that I really love about buying a business is most of the time, the seller of the business will actually have a transition or a training period to actually help you learn how to operate that business. So once you buy it, you can schedule time with the seller and they can actually walk you through the entire process. Like, this is how we fulfill orders. This is how we handle customer service. This is how I talk to my suppliers. This is how I market. Like, they can walk you through every aspect of operating that business so that you can continue to be successful as the new owner. And that is a great benefit to buying an existing business, is that you're not having to figure all these things out. You can just come right in. I liken it to on-the-job training. Like, if you've ever had a job, which most people have, you probably had to go through some type of training period to learn how to perform that role. Well, it's the same thing. So the last, or one of the main benefits of buying an existing business is the reduced risk of business failure. So I'm touching on this again. Like, we don't talk a lot about how most startups fail. And it's an unfortunate reality. No matter how hard you work on a business, even businesses that have received millions of dollars in funding can still fail. I've seen news in some of the tech blogs of companies that raised millions of dollars and still weren't able to turn a profit, and so they had to shut down. So starting a business is not guaranteed that you're going to be profitable. And so that's why when you buy a business, there's a reduced risk of business failure, because you are able to buy a business that is already profitable. Like, it's already gone through that startup effort. Like, it's already gone through that startup phase, and it's already continuously producing profit, and everything is already established. So it's less of a risk for you as the owner. So in addition to the benefits of just buying a business, I want to highlight the benefits of buying an e-commerce business specifically. So when you buy an e-commerce business, you get location freedom. So you can work anywhere that has Wi-Fi. And with all these companies telling people that they have to return to the office now, even though we have been successfully working remotely for the past couple of years, You may be wanting to establish an income source that gives you that ability. So owning an e-commerce business is a great way to do that. Additionally, owning an online business is virtually unlimited in terms of value and reward. There is literally no ceiling, because with an online business, you aren't limited to just local customers. Your customers can be all over the world, which means your income potential is greater than it is with a brick and mortar business. And when you buy an online business, it's already generating revenue and income. So you don't have to worry about trying to figure out what products to sell and how to market. That part is already figured out. So my next thought when I first got started in this is, why would someone sell their business if they're successful? And a lot of people ask me this question too. And I get it, because that's, again, I was thinking that myself. Like, who would sell their business if they're making money? Well, I started looking into it a bit more. And so what I discovered is here are the few reasons why, or the most common reasons why people sell their business. The number one that I see is burnout. People will build a successful business and get to the part where they're ready to move on, and they're tired, they don't want to do it anymore. And rather than just shut the business down, which unfortunately a lot of people do because they're unaware that they can sell it, they'll look to sell it. So burnout is one of the main reasons that I see that people want to sell their business. Another is lifestyle changes. Maybe they're expanding their family, maybe they're moving. There could be any kind of lifestyle change that makes it more difficult or challenging for someone to maintain that business. And so that's a key reason why someone might sell their business. And the third is money. I mean, we hear stories all the time about this company had an exit, or this company sold their business to this company. Well, what happens when they do that? They get paid. So this is a lot of times why people even get started in business, because they want to build something that they can eventually sell. So people will sell their business so that they can cash out and go lay on a beach in Thailand or something. And another reason why someone might sell their business is that they can't keep up with the growth. You would be surprised. Like I talk a lot about startups that have a high failure rate, but there's also the flip side of that, where some companies are profitable and successful out the gate, and they can't keep up with the growth because maybe they weren't even planning on owning a business that required them to scale. Maybe they just wanted a few extra $1,000s a month, and then all of a sudden they found customers that love them, and now they can't keep up. You would be surprised. This actually happens fairly often. And the fifth reason why someone might sell, most common reason why someone might sell their business, is just new projects. People get to the point where they're ready to move on to something new. Maybe they want to start a new business. There are people out there. I like to say there's two different types of people, two different types of entrepreneurs. There's the ones that want to go from 0 to 1 and just build from the ground up and build something from nothing. And then there's the ones that go from 1 to 10, and they're the ones that come in and buy a business and then scale it to the next level. So new projects is the key reason why someone would sell their business. So I pulled a few listing examples just to show the reasons why some business owners decided to sell their business. So here's one here. You see that they are moving to another country and they feel that the business needs a new owner on the ground. So they're moving, lifestyle change. Here's one that's money. They've decided to part ways with the business because they've tallied up debt and they need the cash, money. Another one is the store is growing at an exponential rate, primarily due to buyer referrals and word of mouth, and they're having a hard time keeping up with the growth. So they're growing too fast. So these are just a few, these are real examples that I found of reasons why people are selling their business. So the next question I usually get is, okay, so once you understand what buying a business actually means and why people sell their business, you're ready to buy one. And so you want to know, okay, where do I find these businesses, right? So there's two key places to look for businesses for sale. Now there's other strategies, but these are the primary ways. There's online marketplaces and business brokers. So online marketplaces list businesses for sale. And this is kind of similar to like looking for houses for sale. You can find, like, go on Zillow or Truly or something like that and see houses for sale. It's the same concept, but businesses. So you can see the website, you can see the cash flow that the business is generating, you can see the assets included, et cetera. You'll also be able to, a lot of times, speak directly with the seller to talk more about their business. And so online marketplaces are a great place to get started. And another place is through a business broker. So a business broker is similar to real estate brokers, but instead of selling properties, they're selling businesses. So typically they work on behalf of the seller, and they will be the ones to provide you with the business information. And they kind of act as the middleman between you and the seller. So now I'm showing you the benefits of buying an existing business, why people sell their business, and where to find businesses for sale so that you can skip the struggle of starting a business from scratch. Isn't that awesome? Like, this is one of my favorite topics, y'all. So I hope you're enjoying the presentation so far. I'm going to keep going. Well, I'll check the chat really fast. Yes, absolutely, David. I will cover options. Absolutely. So let's go ahead and keep going because I want to make sure I get through this. So let's talk about the next step or the next secret, which is how to find a business within your budget and start generating income on day one. So another question that I usually get is, okay, so I want to buy a business, but how much, right? And that kind of, it almost answers your question that I just got in the chat. So when I was thinking of, when I first learned about buying a business, my main concern was how much would it cost, because I love the idea of not having to build something from scratch. So I wanted to buy a business, but I was working with a limited budget. So I started doing more research to find out how much money I would need to do this. And what I found is that there are businesses available for sale within every budget. So I pulled just a few listings here, and I just kind of want to prove my point, really, because people usually like to say, you know, you need a ton of money to buy a business. And I'm like, actually, you don't. And so here's a couple listings like this one here. And these are all e-commerce businesses, by the way. So here's a business here, $1,000, and it's making an average profit of $300 a month. Here's another business that's $3,500. It's making an average profit of $1,350 a month. Here's a business that's almost $5,000, average profit of $800 a month. $5,000, $1,500 a month. And I'm just going to keep kind of going through these. I just wanted to show you guys a few examples. This one's $11,000, and they're making an average of $11,955 per month. This one's 15, almost 16,000, and they're making an average profit of $10,000 per month. So there are absolutely options, no matter what your budget are. You can buy a business for a few $1,000s to a few $1 million. It really just depends on your budget. And yes, there are financing options available, and there's different types of financing options. I won't be able to go into detail and just for the sake of time in this presentation, but that is something that is available if you are interested in buying a business. And so not only are there businesses available for sale within every budget, but what I also found was that I would immediately get a return on my investment once the business was transferred over to me. So I just really quick, I use some simple numbers here because I want to show you how this works. So let's say you find a business that's $1,500 and you pay $1,500 and it's making a monthly income of $275. If you buy this business, it would take about 6 months for you to get a return on your investment. And I got that number, I got the 6 months by dividing the 1,500 by the monthly income of 275. So 275 a month, it would take 6 months to get your $1,500 back. And then everything that you earn on top of that is pure profit, and you have a business that's generating income, right? And that's just if you don't make any changes to it after you buy it. Because another thing is that the income doesn't have to stay at that level. With an e-commerce business, especially, once you have a product that's already selling and an existing customer list, you can always easily grow the business. You could email the existing customers to come back to the store by offering a 10% off sale or run some type of promotion on the social media page. Like, there's things that you can do so easily to grow a business that's already has a customer list and is already generating income. So let's say you increase that, and from the previous example, let's say you increase the revenue from 275 to 750, which is super easy. And I'm not exaggerating, that's a very easy thing to do. So you pay $1,500 for the business, and now you're producing an income of 750. Now you get your investment back in 2 months. And again, everything you make after that is pure profit. And so if you make sure that you're buying a good business, which is what we're going to talk about next, then the income will continue to come in and grow. So this is, how you can get income or get a return on your investment quickly, but how you can get immediate income when you buy a business. So now you own a business that will be generating income for you on day one. So compared to starting a business and spending a ton of money just trying to get it to the point where it's profitable, I mean, come on, let's get to the money, right? Let's get that immediate income. I had to throw Shaq in there. So let's really quickly go through the last secret, which is how to evaluate the business to ensure that it will continue to be successful after you buy it, right? So once I saw that I could actually afford to buy a business, I was so excited to look for one, right? But one of my biggest fears was, what if I buy it, but it doesn't continue making money afterward? Like, how could I make sure I was buying a good business? So again, back to doing more research. And I started to learn how other people evaluate the businesses that they buy. What I learned was they do due diligence on the business, and sometimes they hire accountants and attorneys to perform that due diligence for them. But again, at the time I was on a budget, so I didn't know if I could pay for professional help. I knew I needed to see how far I could get on my own. So I knew that my main goal was to make sure that the business was making money and that I wanted to make money immediately. And I wanted the business to continue to make money after I bought it. So I knew that the main thing I needed to know was, is the business making money, right? What I learned was to ensure that the business would continue to grow after I bought it, all I needed to do was look at its history. The best way to tell if a business will continue to make money is to see if it has a history of making money. If it has consistently made money for the current owner, then there's a great chance that it will continue to do so. And the amazing thing is you really only need to know and understand 3 numbers. So you need to understand revenue, which is the amount of money the business makes before expenses, AKA sales. You need to understand expenses, which is how much the business spends to make that revenue, so AKA bills. And you need to understand profit, AKA income. So this is what's left after the business pays its bills, right? So revenue minus expenses equal profit. That's your income. So if you can do this simple math to understand how much the business makes, how much the expenses are, and how much income is remaining afterward, which is how much you would make, then you can evaluate a business. And the great thing is the seller of the business will happily provide you with this information. So you can see here, this is just information that I pulled from another listing of a business for sale. And you can clearly see that the business has consistently generated income. So this is like a 12-month view here. And you can see revenue, 13,000, 17,000, 21,000. This is month by month. And then here's your profit over here. So if you see for the last year, this business has generated a profit, then you know there's a great chance that when you buy it, it will continue to do so. So after looking at that information, like I said, if you can look at that type of data and see that the business is generating income, then you can evaluate a business. So now I'm showing you that you can easily evaluate a business to make sure that you will consistently, successfully generate income after you buy it. Isn't that awesome, y'all? Like this, like I said, this is such, it's an intimidating process for many, but it doesn't have to be, especially if you have some guidance. So let me ask you a question. If you followed what I showed you in secret number 1 and found an existing business for sale where the owner was ready to move on, and then you did what I showed you in secret number 2 and found a business within your budget, and then you use secret number 3 to evaluate that business to make sure that it would continue to make money after you bought it, do you think that you could be successful? I really want to know, like in the chat, let me know. So after everything that we just covered, really quickly, let me know, do you think that you could be successful if you found a business for sale in your budget and you knew how to evaluate that business? Do you think that you could be successful? Yes, I see some yeses. Absolutely. Great, y'all. So how many of you are excited about what we just talked about? Like usually when I come into, usually when I have these presentations, like people are literally pretty lit about the opportunity to buy a business instead of starting one. So are you guys excited about this? Like, is this something that would interest you? Like, would you even think about buying a business at some point? Is this something that you've ever considered? Like, I'm just curious. Let me know in the chat. Like, is this something that you would be excited to do? Let me see some yeses real quick. And I'm gonna keep it going because I only have a couple more minutes. Awesome. Okay, yes, no doubt. Perfect. I would, yes, great. That's awesome. Like that's my goal. Like my goal, because I didn't see when I first got started, I didn't see anybody else talking about buying businesses online. And so that's my goal, is to get this information out so people can at least know that it's an option for them. So let me go ahead and keep it moving. Let me ask you a question. So we've been going on now for, it looks like about maybe 40 minutes. And again, I know I talk fast, and hopefully, hopefully I didn't lose any of you guys. And if so, I apologize in advance, but I know I only have you guys' attention for so long, and I want to cover as much as possible. But I'm curious, how would you guys like for me and my team to actually work with you and help you implement what you've learned about buying a business today? So help you find an existing online business for sale where the owners are begging you to take it from them. Help you find one that's in your budget, and help you evaluate it to make sure that it will continue to grow after you buy it. So how many of you are actually interested in getting some help with that? So for those that are interested, I have a special program that I put together to help you guys implement what you learned today. I put together a special offer, and if you guys are cool with it, I would love to spend maybe like 5 more minutes going over exactly what that offer is so that you can look at it and just see if it's for you. So is it cool if I spend about 5 minutes going through it really quickly? If so, type yes in the chat, because I want to make sure you guys will even be interested in even hearing about it. Because this offer that I put together is really, it's what I wish existed when I first got started. I really didn't have any guidance. I didn't know who to talk to. Like I said, I made so many mistakes. And I didn't see anyone online talking about buying businesses. And so I thought there needs to be something out there that people can use to achieve this goal, like something that can actually help people. So, okay, great. So Lori's giving me the thumbs up. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the offer really quickly. And then of course, there's some time for Q&A, and I'm gonna pass it back to Lorie. So again, this offer is what I wish existed when I first got started years ago. So the offer, the program that I created is called the Acquisition Accelerator. So this is, like I said, what I wish existed when I first got started years ago. And this is the exact blueprint that has taken me and my clients from zero to owning a successful, profitable online business within weeks. I've worked one-on-one with several clients, and literally some of them bought a business. Like the program that I was working with them on was about 6 weeks. Some of them literally bought a business within 4 weeks. We weren't even done with the program before they bought a business. They were ready. So this is the exact blueprint that helps them and me actually acquire a business. So it has become not just a guessing game anymore, not a fluke, not luck. This is a proven blueprint. If you just do what myself and my clients have done, you can very, very easily get these results. I can't guarantee it for you, that's on you, but I can show you how to do it. Okay, and so let me just really quickly show you just some feedback that I got from my clients. They said that they really appreciate the professionalism of the training and the meetings, and that the escrow process and the store transfer was seamless, and how excited they are. That process of transferring the business over to you is so much fun, but it can be a headache if you don't do it right. So it's good to have some help with that. And also that they signed up, and that I'm an excellent coach, which I always appreciate that, because again, I always think about myself and how I felt when I first got started. And so that's why I try to share and help other people to do it. So the Acquisition Accelerator is everything that you need to learn to start looking for a business to buy. So here's what we're going to cover. We're going to talk about what kind of business you should buy. We're going to talk about the top places to find businesses for sale. We'll dive into how to evaluate a business. And then you'll be ready to make an offer and actually buy a business. Like I said, some of my clients have actually done that within weeks. Then we're going to look at how to transfer ownership and assets. And then finally, we're going to wrap it all up with learning how to proceed as the new owner, because you actually want to know, now that you buy this business, now that you bought this business, now what? So I want to go back and make sure that you know who this is for. It's for people who currently have a job and they want to replace their income so that they can quit with no worries, right? You don't have to wait to start a business and try to get it to produce income before you quit. You can just buy a business that's already generating income. So it's for those people. It's for people who have a job and they want to keep their job, and they just want to create an additional source of income so that they're not completely dependent on one paycheck. It's for people who are generating consistent income in their business, but they're ready to take it to the next level. And you might be thinking that you can't get started with this because maybe you don't have the money to buy a business yet. And here's why that's a mistake that could hold you back from success. Because not only are there businesses for sale within every budget, like we discussed earlier, but it's also a good idea to learn the process now while you're saving your money so that when you're ready to buy, you will already know what to do. So when you sign up to my program, you're going to get instant access to my acquisition accelerator blueprint, which is a total value of $24,999. So let's keep going because I had to put together something really great for you guys in this special offer. When you invest today, you're also going to receive the business buyer toolbox. So as a part of this package, you're going to get a business evaluation question script. And this is a tool that's going to help you know what questions to ask the seller so you can learn more about the business and make sure that it's not only a good fit for you, but also a good business to buy. You're also going to get a due diligence checklist. And this tool will help you make sure that you have checked off everything that you need to make sure that the business is good to go. You're also going to get an asset transfer checklist. And this tool will help you make sure that you're getting everything associated with that business once you buy it. You're going to get a purchase agreement contract to legally seal the deal and protect your investment. When you have this tool, you'll be able to get rid of paying an expensive lawyer to draft this contract for you. I already did that. I already paid the lawyer. So I have the contract available for you guys, so you don't have to worry about that. When I was figuring this stuff out, I made so many mistakes because I didn't know what to do after I bought my business. So I had to create a plan for myself so I would know what to do going forward. So that's why you're going to get my 90-day new owner plan. And that's going to help you know how to proceed as a new owner once you buy a business. So this will save you a ton of time and keep you from making the same mistakes that I did. And you will know exactly what to do after you buy a business to make sure it's successful. So I'm going to give it to you as a part of this package. Sound good? Okay, let's keep going. So when you sign up, you're going to get instant access to the acquisition accelerator blueprint, plus the business buyer toolbox, which is a total value of $34,998. Again, I already paid all the experts, I already did all that thing, and I still have all that stuff. So I'm able to share that with my community. So what else do you need? Like, I wanted to make sure that you guys didn't have any excuses, that you have everything that you need to be successful. So you have the blueprint, you have the toolkit. What if you needed more information about how to actually operate an e-commerce business? Maybe you've owned one before and you can use a refresher, or maybe you haven't and you want to make sure that you know how to before you buy one. So when you invest today, you're also going to get access to my e-commerce 101 course. And this is going to help you with understanding how to operate an e-commerce business. Before I bought an e-commerce business, I spent months just learning the fundamentals to operate one. And plus I had all that experience from working in corporate, but I had to learn how to be the owner of a business. And so I had to learn different types of e-commerce businesses like drop shipping, like how to market and fulfill orders. But you won't have to spend that much time because I'm giving you this course as a special bonus. Okay, so when you sign up, you're going to get the access to all the business models of e-commerce, how to operate, how to market the business, customer service, order fulfillment, all those things. So when you sign up, you're going to get instant access to the acquisition accelerator blueprint, the business buyer toolbox, and e-commerce 101, which is a total value of $36,997. But let's keep going, because like I said, I wanted to do whatever I can to help you be successful. And I really sat down and thought about it. I was like, what did I wish I had when I first got started? So when you invest today, you're also going to get access to our private mastermind community. And this is one of my favorite parts, because this will help you get answers to your questions as you're going through the process of buying a business. So you may have a question about a specific business that you're interested in and you want additional guidance for how to proceed. We got you. Another perk of being a mastermind member is that you will get access to vetted listings. So my team and I actually handpick available businesses for sale and post them in the community. And we only choose those that are profitable, viable businesses. So this is to help you more efficiently find a great business to buy. So you'll also be able to connect with other people who are also going through this journey, which will help you stay motivated. When I first got started, I didn't have anyone to talk to. It was just me figuring it out on my own. So I wanted to build a community of people who were also interested in the same thing I was and working toward the same goal. So in addition to the community, you'll be able to join bi-weekly live Q&A meetings. And this is where you can ask questions. We'll be sharing even more tips about buying businesses. I'll be bringing in expert guests who can teach you how to grow the business after you buy it, like experts in Facebook ads, influencer marketing, automation, you name it. So the goal is to increase the value of your investment. because you would typically have to pay lots of money to get access to that type of information, but it's included in the package when you sign up for this program today during the class. So this mastermind is for those who are serious and ready to take action, and we can make the most, of our meeting time. So you'll get instant access to that community that's going to just continue to grow. So when you sign up, you're going to get access to the blueprint, the toolbox, Ecom 101, and the private mastermind community, which is a total value of $38,296. And no, I'm not done. So you're also going to get exclusive access to my expert referral network. So this referral network includes financing providers. So someone asked about financing options. I actually have partnerships with financing providers who are ready to serve my community exclusively. And they know that I'm teaching people how to acquire businesses, and they're ready to actually provide some financing to help them do that. So financing providers, due diligence experts, tax advisors, because when you're investing, you want to make sure that you're taking care of the taxes. Accountants, legal assistants, and even hiring virtual assistants, so you can even automate the business so that you don't have to be the one to operate it day to day. Maybe you're going to keep your job, and so you only have a little bit more time left after you get off work. You can automate an e-commerce business. You can have virtual assistants that actually run the day to day for you. So when you sign today, you're going to get the accelerator blueprint, the toolbox, Ecom 101, the private mastermind community, and access to my referral network. And so this is a total value of $50,295. So again, basically that referral network is like having your own vetted and experienced deal team working for you without the work of having to find the help that you need on your own. So that's where we are today. Now, obviously, I am not going to charge you guys $50,295. But if I did charge you that much and all it did was save you the trouble of starting a business from scratch and allows you to make money immediately, would that be worth it to you? Like if all this program got you was a profitable online business so that you could either quit your job and have freedom or just start to build wealth, would that be worth $50,295? And if all it did was allow you to start making money from your business immediately, would it be worth that? If all it did was help you buy a business that you could easily grow and massively increase your income, would it be worth that? So I had two options with this. I could go as cheap as possible and try to sell as many as possible, basically. But the problem with that is that I wouldn't be able to really stack on the value for you. Because again, with all those experts and the toolbox, the contracts and everything, all that expert advice that I've already paid for, that is well over 50,000 really. But if I wanted to make this as valuable as possible, then I can't make it as cheap as possible, right? So I decided to go with the second option, which obviously requires a slightly higher investment on your side. But in exchange for that, we can dedicate more time, energy, and resources to actually help you and guarantee your success. So if you had a successful online business today that was making you money, what would that be worth to you? How much would you pay to have that one successful business? You can probably see why people pay me upwards of $50,000 to work one-on-one with me, because it's not a cost, it's an investment. This is what it costs to work one-on-one with me, $50,000. So you've already seen how it's worth $50,295. But even at that, and even at $50,000, which is what I charge my one-on-one clients, it's a great deal. But because I want to see more people take advantage of this opportunity and find success with business ownership, I'm going to give you guys a very special offer. So you get instant access to an entire program, plus all the bonuses that I mentioned, for $5,000. Now, let me put this into perspective for you. If you were to take some other course or hire a coach to help you start an online business, it might cost at least $3,000. Then that's just to learn how to start the business. You haven't actually started the business at that point. Then you would need to actually start the business and figure out what products to sell or services to offer. Next, you're going to need to invest more money to get a website designed and, of course, pay for marketing and advertising and all the expenses related to starting a business. All of that, and you're already at least $10,000 in the hole, and you haven't even made a dime yet. But because you're learning how to buy an existing business so that you can skip all that stuff and start making money immediately, you only pay $5,000. So at this point, you have two choices. choice number one is to do nothing. And if you do nothing with the information you just learned over the last 45 minutes or so, then what will you get? Nothing. Or you can choose to take a leap of faith and just get started to see if this will work for you. And the real question is this: is it worth spending a few minutes of your time to check this out? Because even if it only does half of what I've claimed today, it will pay for itself as soon as you buy a business and start generating income. But just in case you're worried, like, could I do this? First of all, this program is specifically for the wealth-minded. Therefore, it is not cheap, and it really shouldn't be, right? It is designed to teach you a strategy and a process that, executed diligently, will add an unlimited amount of income to your bottom line and massively increase your personal net worth. But that being said, this is all new to you or not. Maybe you've heard of buying businesses before, and you want to make sure that you can actually achieve it, which of course you can. So for that reason, I am prepared to guarantee that you get a full return on your investment within 1 year of enrolling in a program. So if you complete the program, attend the calls, execute on what you learn, and you still don't feel fully prepared to actually buy an e-commerce business, I will work with you one-on-one for an additional 6 months free of charge until you do. Again, that's something that I usually charge $50,000 for. But if you don't feel like you got value after going through this program, I will work with you for an additional 6 months for free. Fair enough? So again, you're gonna get the Acquisition Accelerator Blueprint, the Business Buyer Toolbox, Ecom 101, the community, and the expert referral network, just for $5,000. So I wanna also mention that we only take on a few people at a time in order to provide a more hands-on, high-quality experience to the members of the community. So whenever we reach the point where we're at capacity, I will close the doors until there's more spots available. And again, this is a 6-month program. So if you don't hop in now, then you may have to wait another 6 months, maybe even longer, because I do have a wait list as well. So if you're interested in getting started now, I highly recommend that you go ahead and save your seat. So that's it for me. I'm done. I hope I've added a ton of value. That's my goal, as always. Of course, I'm available for Q&A. So definitely, Lorie, I'm gonna shoot it back over to you. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and I'm happy to help.
I love it. That was amazing. Thank you so much. She can take a breath now. Kenna was really instrumental with putting everything together, everything that you pretty much need to know to get your answers together. I'll share a quick story. I spoke with Kenna last week, signed up for her program last week. And the reason why I signed up for her program was I quit one of the streams of income that I had. So I had a position and I quit. And as of August 26th, I'm looking now for an opportunity. This opportunity was one of 4 that came into my space. And I just asked God, just show me exactly what I need to do. Thursday, I started the classes, and she didn't even have all the one-on-one that she had now. So everything here, $5,000, when you take a look at the bigger scheme of things, that's your coaching for the next however long it's going to take for you to get your business started. So I got started, y'all. Saturday morning, I was at breakfast and I took my laptop. I had it on the bar, and the waiter was like, "Only entrepreneurs sit at this table with their tablet or computer and are doing work. What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm learning how to start a business, like how to not start a business, but how to buy a business." And he was like, "Yeah, big ups, that's a big deal." So between those 2 days, I'm in the process of still doing it myself. So I wouldn't bring somebody on just to let you guys just talk about it. But $5,000 is the investment that she's looking to help you get this started. So we're going into the last quarter of 2022. You've got to take a look personally and professionally at your goals and say, where do I want to start 2023? We're already at the end of the year, so you have to take a look and say, well, what's next? Because we're not going backwards with inflation. So we have to focus on what is in front of us, what can we do? And I've already given you so many options every week as far as how to get funding. So for those that have really been paying attention, and Kenna, the majority of the folks that are on here are in the real estate space. So they understand what it looks like to identify a property. They understand what it looks like to analyze a property. And then, of course, figure out, is this going to be the best thing for them? That's where you come in to really help with that, because we're not knowing how to do that with a business. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I did take a look at some of the funding options. I'll give you a sneak peek. I'm not gonna say everything that's in it, but everything, David, I think you had a question about the funding. Some of these businesses have options for you to get funding right there on that platform. So remember, I shared with you the link of the funding where I got money for to get the studio done. I got $10,000 to get that done. So they have the same offer with some of the financing options in there. So David, imagine if you saw a company that was $11,000, you can see the particulars on how much income it's coming in, the expenses. They show you all the receipts, so they can't lie about their back office like with Shopify, right? So they're not just like, oh, let me just give something to David so he can take a look and see if he wants to buy it. No, these are actually, this is actually data that you can pull, and you can see their actual revenue, how many customers they have, how many subscribers they have, and see, is this something that you believe in that would keep, that you can make better to make more money? So some of them do have funding options where they're going to take a look at the revenue of that business and then give you options to see if you can fund that new business right there on that platform. So you don't have to just run down your thrift savings plan or your retirement just to make this happen. So I'm here just to share with you. This is something that I am doing right now myself. And so I believe in it. And I'm definitely not going to bring people on here that don't make sense. And with everything that we're talking about, I just want to make sure if you guys have any questions about how to buy or anything that Kenna Craver talked about this evening, unmute yourself so that she can help get those answers for you. Kirby?
Hello?
Good.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Mm-hmm.
I wanted to talk a little bit more about two things. The cost of total ownership for a business. A lot of times, the cost may exceed what you see in the expense sheet. For example, there may be certain things that you need to set up on your side, or some other types of things and trainings, other external things that may cost money and time for some of these businesses. Are those things evaluated when these businesses are considered? And the second thing I wanted to ask about was the different time commitments. Are those things fully vetted so that people are aware of what's expected, especially people who are trying to supplement income and eventually transition into a full-time remote online business? Over.
You're on mute.
Oh, Kenna, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. So I might forget one of your questions. So if so, please forgive me. But as far as the time commitment goes, you can actually, that's part of due diligence. So when you find a business that you want to buy, you can actually see in the listing the time commitment required to operate that business. So say you're working full time, or you've got a lot of other commitments, you've got things going on, and you need to know, okay, how much time will I need to actually operate this business? So you can actually see that the seller of the business will actually include that in the listing, and they'll say, oh, it takes, I run this business in 10 hours a week, or I run this business in 40 hours a week. Like, they'll let you know. Sometimes sellers can, because they want to attract buyers, they'll make it seem like, oh, I run this business, it's fully automated, I spend maybe 20 minutes a week on it. So those are things that you can actually diligence when you're evaluating the business, and I show you how to do that in the program. So you can actually look, and when you're going through the documents that the seller will provide to you when they can show you like on their back end, as Lorie mentioned, you can log in and get like a staff account. You can actually have them walk you through a typical day. They can actually say, let's hop on a Zoom just like this. And let me just show you how I operate the business day to day and what's required. Like you want to make sure that you can actually commit to operating this business. And a lot of times these businesses already have virtual assistants or employees that are operating the day-to-day for them. So that can help a lot. But if not, you can always outsource any of the day-to-day tasks yourself. And I show you how to do that in the program as well. So as far as time commitment goes, yes, you can definitely due diligence that and make sure that this is something that you can actually commit to. Remind me of your other question.
I think it's just a part of the vetting and the due diligence process. But sometimes when you see these sheets and it says, here's my, you see your numbers. This is everything it took, all my expenses. And sometimes people will omit infrastructure things you need to do to build up your own infrastructure to be able to do the business versus someone who's already in business. But as a new business owner, there might be educational expenses, there might be infrastructure expenses, there might be things that new customers may need to already have. And there's some lead time for that. I'm just trying to understand, are those types of things considered in the evaluation process?
Yes, absolutely. And so one of the first things that I always suggest to do when you're looking at buying a business is to request a request a profit and loss spreadsheet. So the profit and loss will actually show you all the expenses related to that business. And that includes educational experience. That includes any courses that they had to buy, any coaching, anytime they had to hire a consultant or something for assistance, in addition to all the marketing and just general operating expenses. So if ever you are, want to find out like all the expenses associated with setting up the infrastructure, that's something that you can find out through requesting a profit and loss statement.
And one of the things, Kirby, also that I liked was to answer that question, because anybody could put together a spreadsheet, right? I want you to look at it from like a real estate point of view. If I was selling a house and, the disclosure form, my realtors know how this is done. If the disclosure form is saying, are there any leaks? Are there any foundation problems? Well, they could say whatever they want on that form, but until a home inspection is actually done, that helps you support what they said. An appraisal is going to back up. Well, no one's just going to say, well, my house is worth 525. Well, the appraisal is actually going to back up that. The title work is going to back up, are there any liens? So with this, if you have access, they will have to give you access to their back office, such as Shopify. Those numbers don't lie. Those numbers, you can't mess with those type of numbers. So that's why it's during that due diligence time is to speak with the owner and actually have a conversation about everything that you would think is necessary to run that business. And then of course, bring your attorney in or bring someone else that has owned a business and just say, or lean on, Kenna, because she knows what kind of questions to ask to make that make sense for you. So yeah, we're not just taking people's spreadsheets.
Absolutely not. Right.
Does that answer your question, Kurt?
Yeah, I think that answered my question. There has to be some type of, especially when she mentioned that the brokers or work on behalf of the actual seller.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have, or a potential buyer would need to have someone who understands how to validate the things that were said. And that's my biggest concern, especially in the industry that I may not have a lot of experience in.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. Thank you.
You got it. There are times where you all as real estate professionals and entrepreneurs, you're going to get into a situation such as this, and you're going to look back and say, everything that she said was true, because you understand, most of you have already done everything as far as I need to get an LLC together. I need to get marketing. I need to find the audience. I need to put everything together to make this make sense. So you got help. Let's just put it that way. You've got help, and you've got someone who's reachable. She's in Texas. So she's definitely a reach. And the 6-month guarantee, like, you can't even get away from that. So if you don't do what you're supposed to do, she'll still help you for 6 months free of charge. So you can't lose with that. So with all that being said, does anyone else have any questions? Ari, you're looking to start a business. Ozzy had dropped off, but some of these are my business owners that I know that already have something in place. And now it's just taking a look at, what else can I do going into 2023 that can be easier than me just ramping this up by myself. So Ari, I hope this helped. And Alicia, I don't want to add too much more to your plate, but we're getting younger, not older. So we need to figure out ease of getting things done. This is the reason why I was letting you know having a business checking account is super important, because when it's time to go get funding, you won't have any issues when you have opportunities like this, or when you want to buy a business. Kenna, I saw a business on there was $7 million, right? And I'm just like, can you do that? And it's like, yeah, just don't limit yourself to it's $7 million. And I saw a business that was on the listing for 7 million. But if you've got investors, let's say Alicia, we all came together and we had an investment group. Kirby, you had some investing. David, you had some investing. If everybody put funds together, then that 7 million doesn't bite so hard. So you don't have to buy anything. I saw listings, a lot of guys on there for $0. You got to go on there and just make sure, hey, is this a business I could believe in? I could work and make better. That's one of the things. Kenna, I had a question for you. Now I have a Shopify store where I sell merchandise, my books and my courses. And I'm okay on Shopify, but I'm not like a pro with moving around and knowing all that it can do. So how does your course help out with helping with Shopify and learning that platform to sell products on?
So I'm glad you asked that, because I'm actually updating. The course is dynamic. It's a dynamic program. It's way more than just a course. It's a whole program, and it's dynamic in that I'm always improving it. I'm always adding more resources, because business acquisitions is a fast growing industry, like private equity, all that stuff. So things are changing, and there's new, financing companies coming out and new platforms and things like that. So I'm always updating it. And one thing that I am working on adding is I have the e-commerce 101. So that's basically just like how to operate an e-commerce business in general. But as far as the Shopify platform specifically, I'm definitely adding even more content about how to operate a Shopify business, or how to even just click around the platform and get to know. Another thing is, again, one of the things I mentioned earlier about the expert assistance from the previous owner. So they will actually show you how to, work in the Shopify platform. They'll show you where to find orders and how to fulfill them and all that kind of stuff. So not only are you going to learn about that in the program, but you'll also get that assistance from the previous owner as it relates to that specific business. Because some Shopify stores have different apps that they're using for marketing and all those types of things. And so it'll be good to get that specific training from them, but then you can also just get like a high level training in my program as well.
Good. I love it. That's good to know. Yeah, I'm going to learn Shopify even more. So I'm taking a look, and see. I'm working with some investors. That's why I called someone up this weekend just to see. Put your eyes on something, because when I put my eyes on something, it makes sense. I just need help putting things together with another stronger person in a specific area. So think about it. If you and your husband, your wife want to do something together, you and your family member, maybe not, I don't know, somebody that can do this business with you. and they make sense, and they're not just gonna, just go for a ride with the best part of it, the profit part. So just be open-minded to it. There is a comment. Okay. The Zoom was very informative. It opened my eyes to something different. It will be something I can look into down the road after I get the nail salon fully functioning and my store. I love it. Good. Get it
Lorie, can I say something really quick?
done. Absolutely.
I have to say it because you said it, and I really wanted to call it out because you mentioned about the $7 million business. And I just wanted to mention, as it relates to financing, like there's so many different ways that you can structure a deal. And so a lot of times with those multi-million-dollar businesses that are available for sale, you can get SBA financing to acquire those, and SBA finances up to like 90% in some cases.
Hmm.
So you could get them at like 90% of the price covered, and then just all you have to do is come up with the 10% down payment.
That's good.
So
Yeah.
going back to what you were just talking about, like with investors and, having people that you can pool money together, if you all put that down payment and then got financing for the rest, you could be a $7 million business owner.
Wow.
And then, we don't even talk, I'm not even going to get into how you can flip a business, just like you can flip a house. Like
Exactly.
you can buy a business using financing, scale that business, increase the profits, and then sell it for even more. And you only had to come up with 10% of the down payment. So yeah, so I just had to mention that because you said the $7 million business.
And
yes,
you were right,
you can do
because it
it.
had a lot to do, a lot of this has a lot to do with real estate. So a lot of
Exactly.
the way things are done, the listing and how things are analyzed, it's just something different. So whether you're buying a house, condo, boat, car, you're buying a business, an online business that you can take anywhere. And so I love it. I love it. I love it. I am going to finish out my course pretty much this week. This week, I'm going to finish it out. Yeah, it's going to happen. So either way, it's going to happen. I don't know what I'm going to buy into because there's so many options on that platform, but I will be looking into something that I know that is in demand. Pets, something with pets, pets and anything that women deal with. So anything in those departments, women always shop. So I will keep things going. So do you have kind of a payment option for your investment of 5,000? If someone can't come up with the 5,000 all at one time, what's up? Can they put a down payment down or something?
Of course, yes, absolutely. And there are payment options. I did partner with Shop Pay. So if you click on the link, I'll put it again here in the chat. If you click on a link and go to the page to enroll, you'll actually be able to select Shop Pay at checkout, and you can actually break out that 5,000 into monthly payments. So yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Buy now, pay later. So many things going in that direction. So buy now, pay later. So don't feel like you have to have everything. Digest the information. And then of course, just copy the link down so that you can look over the information tonight, tomorrow, during this time period. Everybody that's on here, I thank you so much for joining. If you have any other questions, Kenna, how can they reach out to you?
Yes, thank you again for having me. I appreciate it. Happy to share this information, and feel free to reach out to me with any questions. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter at Kenna Craver. That's KENNA CRAVER. And definitely, yeah, send me a message if you have any questions, or let Lorie know you're trying to reach me, and she can help out. So thank you again for having me. I appreciate it.
Got it. Thank you so much. Next week, we'll be talking about boosting your credit. So make sure next Tuesday you are back, same channel, same place, and just make sure that you're staying intact of getting everything done. So I commit to staying in the trenches to make sure that you guys are getting all stuff and no fluff every single week. So I thank you so much. Kenna, thank you so much for everything that you shared tonight. And of course, if anybody needs to reach out to you directly, I will have all the information down below and in the recordings. You guys have a good night.
Bye.